Hey guys, Skilled Legend here today, and I want to talk a little bit about something that's kind of been bothering me a little bit lately, especially on the YouTube comment section of other people's videos, and sometimes it's been on some of mine. But anyways, it's whether or not the Kiss scene makes Amourshipping canon, and uh, basically people are saying that it cannot be canon just because we don't know how Ash actually feels, and a lot of it has to do with the lack of Ash showing its feelings for Serena and other things among that. But seriously, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say yes it is canon or no it's not canon, but here are some things that really help determine whether that's true or not. And if canon ability is based on the fact that Ash has to like Serena back, then there are certain things, especially within the series, that you overlooked that would make it quote unquote canon. And you're just throwing stuff out there to make people upset. And I just want to remind people that the people with this kind of outlook are just looking for attention, but at the same time, I want to remind you guys that there are things that happen within the series that would make it quote unquote canon based on these people's perspective. And the funny thing is a lot of them have come out and said that it has to do with the video that was done about how movies are actually canon. So, um, the basically Serena wasn't Ash's first kiss, which is true. The movies are canon. I honestly did not realize this at first because I thought it was a lot like Dragon Ball, where movies were just kind of there to show different stories and show different aspects. It was really hard to tell sometimes because there were things that were mentioned in movies that didn't translate very well over to the animated series, but um, movies are technically filler and not part of the main storyline, so it doesn't really change anything. It's still one of, excuse me, it's still Ash's, first major kiss. It's still with the main character, and it's in the main anime series, so it is, part of the story development. It's not just random filler like these movies are. So, I mean, yeah, you could say, oh my gosh, you know, um, he still got kissed, whatever, but it's still not this big of a deal. It's really not because they are just filler episodes. They don't progress the storyline any. And by the way, if you're going to use that argument of the whole movie side of it, most of Ash's major hints, which is kind of sad, but most of Ash's major hints towards liking Serena are in the movies as well. So I don't know why you would even use that argument. I mean, he's laying there staring at her when making a wish, or she's making her wish with her eyes closed. He's literally doing things that he normally wouldn't do with other girls of the series. He helped her across the bridge. Um, by holding her hand even though it wasn't necessary. And that not only happens in the movie, but it also happens throughout the series as well. There's just so many things that you can think of. But, anyways, and that's early on in the series. I mean, these are things that happened in XY. With him, helping her across the bridge. That was not only in a movie, but in one of the episodes, he literally grabbed her hand and helped her across, even though there was no reason to. Um, just simple things like that. And one of the major things that points that Ash likes Serena, at least somewhat, is it's not something that the Western culture would really know, but it was big in Japan, and that's all that really matters. Because if we're going by canon ability, uh, again, everything that is Japanese in origin and isn't a dubbing error is considered canon. So let's say, for example, Serena says, I like you in Japan, and in the dub she says, I love you. The canon ability there goes to the Japanese unless it was some kind of mistake in the way that they said something, which I don't really understand completely because I mean, it would have to be something pretty messed up, like the translation that they accidentally came out with means like I like something completely inappropriate and the English dub fixes it. But I don't think that's ever happened except for maybe they're talking about the banned episodes. But anyways, that's besides the point. In Japan, there is a not a tradition, but it's kind of like a thing that if you enjoy the if you go on a date, which that's another topic for another time, but technically it was called Ash and Serena's first date question mark whatever. But if you go on a date with somebody and you go out with them and you have a good time, it's typical of the male to give that person a gift at the end of the date as it signifies that you would like to go on another date with that person and spend more time with them. You can look this up. It's a real thing. I'm not making this up. So, I mean, there is some kind of feeling towards Serena that Ash has. Whether you guys want to sit there and believe it or not, he does have some feelings towards her. And it's obvious too. I mean, look at the way that he reacts during certain scenes. I mean, there's times where he stands there looking flabbergasted and it takes him a second to realize what he's doing. Especially if you go all the way back to the episode where Serena is doing the oh gosh, I can't even think of what it's called. The anyways, it's the thing where she does her little video, her PR video. I'm sorry, I can't think of a word for it. But when she dresses up as the Fennekin, you can tell that he literally he I mean, I guess I don't even have to point this out unless you're blind. He literally stares at her and then kind of shakes it off and goes, "Whoa." And then he smiles. And that happens so many times throughout the series where he's kind of like, she's really cute, but like I don't know if I want to, you know, like it just happens where he blanks out and then realizes what happens, and it happens more than once. There's so many times that it happens. It happens when in that scene. It happens when she's in the dress for the first time for her showcase. It's all over the place, man. I mean, yeah, it doesn't say that he absolutely is in love with her, but it does show that he has a attraction to her and that he does somewhat like her. And by the way, another thing is first of all, have you seen the kiss scene? Now I'm not saying like, oh my gosh, a kiss automatically means that Ash likes Serena back, because it was Serena who gave Ash the kiss. But here's the kicker that most people don't realize. So there have been people, and crazily enough, I know this sounds really, really stupid, but there are people who have run the the actual physics on it to make sure that, you know, it was the real deal. Because people want to know whether it was. I mean, obviously the intention was that Pokemon wanted fans to speculate, they wanted people to their imaginations to run wild about this. But based on the animation that they showed us, with Serena getting on her tippy toes and Ash's foot moving, it shows that this is not just a fluke. So someone went through the physics of it, and Serena getting on her tippy toes was that so she wouldn't fall over while she was on the escalator, which most people understand because she was slowly going down the escalator again. And she wanted to kiss Ash on the lips. And to do so, she would have had to lean in and kiss him. Even though she's a little bit taller than him, she still would have had to lean in because the escalator is moving. Now, Ash moves his right foot because we're facing the opposite direction of, the camera's facing the opposite direction. He turned his foot to his right foot in or outward, excuse me, and for him to physically do that, he's planting his foot in a better position so that he can kiss her longer. If that doesn't tell you that he actually has somewhat of attraction to Serena, I don't know what does. I don't know what will convince you. Now, like I said, I'm not trying to prove whether this is canon or whether it's not canon. I'm just saying that if you're going to base canonability on the fact that it's a quote unquote one sided relationship and Ash doesn't like Serena, that's bullshit. I'm just gonna say it. I usually don't cuss, and I don't like cussing, but that's BS. It really is. I hate to say it, but it really is because there are so many things that you can add up and look at and realize that Ash does have some kind of feelings towards Serena. And even like I said with the kissing, he literally plants his foot in a better position so that he can kiss Serena longer. Physics will tell you. I'm not making this up. But anyways, as always, I like hearing what you guys have to say. I just don't like when people are sitting here telling people that this is not canon because, you know, Ash doesn't like Serena that way, or we don't know if Ash likes Serena that way. We don't know Ash's feelings. Well, dude, there's so many things that you can look at that show Ash's feelings. It may not show that he's going to forever love Serena, you know, right now, or that he, you know, has an immense feeling towards Serena, but to say that we don't know anything about Ash's feelings towards Serena is just complete BS. We know based on certain things that happen within the anime itself and based on certain things that happen in real life traditions that they put in. I mean, even if you just go by the hidden messages that they leave behind, like Japanese culture messages and the flower messages that are hidden throughout the series, because you know the language of flower stuff. I mean, that right there explains a lot. You just have to be able to have an open mind and actually look for it, and not just be so closed-minded and be like, "Well, we don't specifically see Ash's feelings about Serena, so therefore not canon." Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Do you think that it's canon, or do you think that we need more information about it to be canon? Do we need more story arcs with Ash and Serena to see how he really feels beyond just the things that we got with the pledging tree episode and the little sparkles in his eyes and the fact that he literally planted his foot so he could kiss Serena longer? Uh, anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.